Can you please, we are in COVID times, please keep your distance.
Yes, guys, let's all fast be ready.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mabirizi and members of the press. It's unfortunate that I have to address you here in front of the gates of the Supreme Court of Uganda. And I've come here to make a very brief statement. It's a sad day for our country that the events, the unconstitutional events that started unfolding yesterday in the premises of the Supreme Court are continuing today. Yesterday, when I was reading my consolidated ruling, which covered the ruling on the recusal application filed by Mr. Mabirizi, I specifically stated that I could not, it had not been called yesterday and I could not pronounce my ruling on it. I discovered Mr. Mabirizi introduced himself in court, and when I discovered that he was in court, I made an order that I would deliver that part of the ruling today at 11 a.m. When I arrived at the court this morning, the tent where the court has been sitting was being dismantled. That was understandable because the court has been hired, the tent was being hired, of course, at great expense. And the reason why the court had moved to the tent was because we are operating during COVID times when we were having high numbers of people, parties, and lawyers, and the judges sitting at the same time. So I immediately talked to the court supervisor and requested that the Supreme Court boardroom, sorry, the Supreme Court courtroom on the second floor prepare ruling. And I'm glad to report that the court was accordingly prepared. I waited in my chambers for Mr. Mabirizi to show up in the courtroom so that I could also go to the courtroom. As I address you now, it is coming to 1 o'clock, almost 2 hours later. And I received a call from one of you saying you are waiting outside. Ordinarily, the judges are not supposed to work through the meeting. But at the same time, I cannot keep quiet when we are seeing these kinds of things unfolding when the Chief Justice is actually in residence. I made inquiries from the registrar. He's not party to the closing of the court. I am the administrative judge of this court, and I have not made this directive. This is the Chief Justice's court, and he's in his office. So I inquired from the police officers, I will not mention the name, why the gates of the Supreme Court are being locked, 1, to a litigant, and 2, to the members of the public, because my understanding of public includes the media. We have just concluded a presidential election petition where you had access to the court, and the recusal application I'm supposed to read was filed under the same petition. So I am very, very surprised that somebody has ordered an unprecedented closure of the Supreme Court of Uganda to the public when the Chief Justice of Uganda is in residence, and for 2 hours he has done absolutely nothing to change this unconstitutional and unlawful order. So it's against the practice of judicial officers to refrain from speaking to the press, I have been forced to come and address you because Mr. Mabirizi was supposed to receive a ruling from me. And apparently, this is continuing because there has been an effort to gag me to read my ruling, which is unconstitutional. I also wanted to make another, now that I'm here, I also wanted to correct an impression which has been given by the official spokesperson of the judiciary, Solomon Muyita, who, without talking to me, went ahead yesterday to speak to the press, and who has also issued a statement maligning my name when he doesn't have the facts. I will at an appropriate time issue my own statement about the developments that led to yesterday's events. And since Mr. Muyita, the judiciary spokesperson, has proved to be inclined either to speak from an uninformed position or to speak on orders of powers that be, from now on, I'll take the responsibility to communicate the position that I hold to the press directly. But the official position as of now is that my file, which was confiscated yesterday, has not been returned to me. This morning, I went to the registry to recover the file, and I was informed by the court office staff that the file was not returned. This is the place where files are supposed to be kept if they are not kept in the judge's chambers. I inquired from one of our registrars who is in office. He was not aware about the file. The registrar staff informed me that they had left the files in the boardroom, which I checked yesterday, and the files were not there. This morning, I went back and checked in the boardroom, and the files are not there. So I'm left with no conclusion that my file is still being confiscated by none other than the Chief Justice of Uganda. Because yesterday, as I approached the tent, his security detail, which is attached to him for his personal security, is the one which removed the files from the tent where the court has been sitting. And it's very unfortunate. So since the files are not in the official registry, I tried to access the Chief Justice. He was engaged. I tried to access his personal assistant. He was not in office. But the position as of now is that my file is still confiscated unconstitutionally. And that is very, very unfortunate. So with those, no, I'm not going to address Uganda, sorry. So with those words, I want to say to the litigant who was supposed to receive his ruling that I will deliver his ruling at sometime next week on a date that I will communicate to him. I hope the communication in since he's unrepresented, I'm sure there is an address that where his official telephone number and whatever other contacts are indicated. So the communication will be to him. And as for you, the members of the press, you and I know the provisions of the Constitution. This court is a public court. No one has the authority to lock it during office hours. That is not the judiciary, that the people who made the Constitution, or the people of Uganda. That's not the judiciary that was envisaged. And it's very, very unfortunate that this is happening under the watch of none other than the Chief Justice of Uganda.
Letters since I had complained against them. Thirdly, I had come to file my rejoinder in my case in East African Court of Justice where I'm challenging the election results and the process of disconnecting internet and everything. They filed a defense. I had come to file my rejoinder. Unfortunately, on reaching here, the gate was closed. They said the court is not working. I asked everybody how a court of law cannot work on a working day. No answer was given. Judges were coming in and out. Court staff were going in and out. So we have been here up for I think now it's past 1, until when the judge had to come outside the gate because we had no access and told us that actually she had prepared a courtroom up, the Supreme Court room, for me to go and receive my ruling. She waited for me. I could not be seen until when she was informed that we are held up out here. So she came and addressed us. But you can see how the set of rule of law in Uganda is collapsing. That the whole Supreme Court can close its doors from the public. Another important thing is this court hosts the East African Court of Justice, an international organ with obligations with Kenya, Rwanda, and Tanzania. Now it has also been closed from the public. So I think this is so disheartening, this is so disastrous for rule of law, and of course it proves that actually Onyidolo is not fit to be in this office of Chief Justice. Olwaleero nakedde wano kusaawa kati zinaba kuwera 5 nabadde n'ensonga zange 3 ezandeese. Ensonga esooka, Omulamuzi Kisakye yaŋŋambye jjo alina ensala yange gy'agenda okuwa omusawo gwe nasaba Onyidolo okuva mu musango ogwo. Teyajja kati nga nze nfune ruling eyo kuba twabadde mu kkooti, omulamuzi n'akiraga bulungi nti nja funa ensala yange leero. Ekyokubiri, leero nkedde kuwabira abalamuzi ba Supreme Court n'Onyidolo mu kakiiko akabakwasa emisa ka Service Commission ku nneeyisa gye beeyisizaamu eggulu. Mu mateeka oli bw'omukolako ekintu olina okukikola okumuwaako kopi nga nze kubaako kopi zaabwe. Ekyokusatu, nawabira gavumenti ya Uganda ku by'okulonda kwe yateeka okwekimpatiira. Neeteekamu okuwozaako kwayo, mbadde ndeese okuddamu kwange kye bayita rejoinder. Kuteeke mu kkooti ya East Africa kuba naye etuula wano. Baŋŋambye wonna waggale. Ne mbagamba kkooti ya East Africa y'amawanga 6 mugiggala mutya nayo tugiggadde. Ye kkooti ya Uganda eggala etya nga ofisi zonna nzigule nga tebannyonnyola. Kati wayiseeyo essaawa 2 Mukama n'atuyamba omulamuzi n'avaayo n'ajja n'atugamba nti bategese kkooti yayo baagijjewo n'agala akalwa bajjawo bagijjewo. N'atugamba yategese kkooti eri ey'omu kizimbe asomeremu ensala ye, naye bw'amaze ogigira ne batugaana okuyingira. Era agenze okukinoonyerezaako kyonna ye nga kuya kkooti nga takimanyi n'egisitula nga takimanyi. N'akireka nti Onyidolo yaganye abantu okuyingira mu kkooti. Era n'atugamba nti kimenya mateeka, kugamba kirengeza ssemateeka wa Uganda okuba nti kkooti ey'abantu eggalwa olw'okuba omuntu tayagala abantu bayingire. So naye aŋŋambye ajja kumpa ensala yange wiiki ejja ajja kutegeeza olunaku olwo. Naye nga bino byonna biraga nti enfuga y'amateeka mu Uganda egenda esereba, kuba kati olabira ddala wano wennyini abantu balina okufuna essuubi. Tebabeera bamubbi yonna yonna wano baakuva bafunira ki justice. Naye kati nawo wano wakoze eki wafuuse matongo. So katulinde ekinaddako, naye nga bino byonna bimenya mateeka era ndowooza ku ssaawa entuufu tujja bivunaana Onyidolo ne banene mu kkooti ya gundi ya East Africa. Kuba Onyidolo namukubira essimu yaganya okukwata nga nja mubuuze lwaki osibye kkooti. Ne nkubiralako ekyessimu n'aŋŋamba munja kuddira nga mugaba abapoliisi bo bali wano okumenya mateeka. Teeka ki omupoliisi lyalina eriggala kkooti nti agiggadde? Ŋŋambye awo omupoliisi abadde abakulira ne mugamba kimanye ennaabiri ndaga ekiwandiiko ddolo kye yawandiise tiggala kkooti nga talina takye. Ne mugamba gwe nkuwabira ng'omuntu kuba kati tolina kiwandiiko kyonna wabula gw'ogadde kkooti. So ebikolwa ebyo bya kiyayiya ebiri awo ate ng'eno kkooti esuubira okuba nga yabuvunaanyizibwa. Nya kitundu ndi wano nazze wano tosono saa 4 n'eddakiika nga 5 nga nze kukola bintu 3. Ekintu ekisooka, Omulamuzi Kisakye olunaku lw'eggulo yatuwadde paka yampadde essaawa 5 okumpa ensala yange mu kusaba kwe nateekayo nga njagala olave mu musango gwa Kyagulanyi asazeemu na buli kyonna kye yakola ki basazeemu ne byonna byonna ebyakolebwa. Luli ku Lwokusatu abalamuzi baali 8 baawa ensala yaabwe. Ensala ey'omwenda ebadde ya lwaleero kaakati n'ezijanjifuna. Ekyokubiri, nva kuwawaabira abalamuzi 8 aba kkooti eno. Saabalamuzi yasooka ne banno omusanvu okuli Opiya Aweri, Mugamba, Kibita, Muhanguzi, Tuhayise, Arakyamoko n'omulamuzi Monda olw'enneeyisa yaabwe gye beeyisizaamu eggulo ne registrar wa kkooti eno. ku bbaluwa ziri nino bbaako kopi bategere ekigenda mu maaso kyesooka y'okubirendesa esooka y'okusatu n'awabira gavumenti ya wano olw'envuyo gyali mu kulonda ne mu kulangirira akalulu neteekayo defense mu kooti ya East Africa kati nze nziremu defense yaabwe kubanga waliwo kooti ya East Africa abasirikale baŋŋamba leero kooti tezaakoze ne mbagamba ya East Africa nayo teyakoze baggaddewo naye kooti ezitaakoze abamu bayingira abala bafuluma leero si public holiday mbadde njoga ne Nakintu awo abakuliddemu talina nsonga gyampa era mugenjamu awabiranga omuntu n'abirye Nakintu ye DPC banyimye ennamba ye tinjamu awabiranga omuntu kubanga talina wadde kiwandiiko kyandaga kyavudde oba wadde oba waani kigamba nti aggale office eno ya government leero si public holiday nzize omulamuzi wa Supreme Court yatudde eggulo n'aŋŋamba jangu ku ssaawa 5 nkuwa ensalayo nina ofuna ensala nateekayo okusaba kwange nasula ssente mu kkooti nenzira ne nkuwoza mwena mwakulaba kakati simanyi lwaki ate Onyidola agamba Onyidola mukubidde essimu wano aganya ogikwata paka weekutuseeko ne nkubira lokeeki ne mugaa poliisi yammwe ekola ki wano aŋŋambye mbu kanzirye nakatannaba kunzirira ne nkubira muyito omwogezi wa judiciary ne mugaa kooti zatukadde okubanga ziggala ki nga bazitugalira nga ate office government zikola yagambye simanyi naye kadde mutalina kyeyazzeemu akati nze njagala lulingi yange omulamuzi nga bwe yagiŋŋambye so ntudde wano mbeere nga nnengera omulamuzi kuba ayinza okujjawo nga mpita ng'ate ndi wala ate natula mu kkubo eno okukola buli omu waliwo ekintu ki so ensonga lwaki ndi wano
mu Luganda kibuuze naawe mu Luganda kibuuze lwaki okiyitoola ensonga enkulu si yakundayiza oba kwerayiza ng'omuntu ekigendererwa kyaffe kununulira ddala Uganda kulabe nti tekikoma kulonda kwokka twalonda naye mulaba bwe bayisaamu okulonda so ne bwe nalayira era tumanyi kye bajja okukola ki okweyisaamu tutuula ne bannaffe ne tusalawo buli step gye tusalawo tumala giteesaako ne tugikubaganyako ebirowoozo ne tugamba kakino kye tuba tukola naye nga buli kye tukola tumekinga shuwa kiri mu mateeka ate nga kiri mu buntu bulamu.
The ruling of Justice Kisakye, how does that change? How does that change your plans or your petition to the public court?
Thank you very much. Looking at the drama and overall exposure of the impunity in the Supreme Court, that does not change our course. It does not change our plans. It only confirms what we've been saying, that there is no justice in the justice system, especially where Mr. Museveni is concerned. We have been telling people that yes, we always go to the judiciary because that's the legal avenue. However, the Supreme Court under the Chief Justice Mr. Onyedoro is completely under the pocket of General Museveni. So what happened yesterday is a further confirmation, and we thank God for always coming in to cover where we cannot cover. We could not use our own energy or our own influence to show the people the truth. What happened there was an act of God to confirm that regardless of what the dictators do using all state machinations, God is always powerful and he has a way of bringing facts to the front. The Chief Justice had been used certainly to legitimize Museveni's grip on power, to legitimize the fraudulent election that just took place on the 14th of January. But God used Justice Kisakye to speak truth to power. We know that it must have cost her a lot of confidence and bravery, and we salute her. But at least what happened yesterday exposes further and gives people more reason to believe that they are on their own, that they are the last court. Like we've been saying, that at the end of the day, after everything is said and done, the people of Uganda will have the last say in matters of their destiny. And that time is now, no other time. Sikize mu Luganda. Kamala ukimutera mu Luganda. Ekyabaddewo ku kooti jo tekikyusa lugendo lwaffe, wabula kituyamba okwongera okukakasa eggwanga kye tubadde nga tubagamba nti bannayuganda kati bali ku lwabwe, obwenkanya tebagenda bufuna mu kooti nsukulumu. naddala Mwai Museveni waali nga naye muwawaabirwa. Bakirabye nti Mwai Museveni ng'akozesa Ssaabalamuzi yakwata ekkooti n'agimalamu ekitiibwa kyonna kyonna, era olunaku lw'eggulu kwe kwabadde okweyambula okwabadde kusigaddeyo nga Ssaabalamuzi w'ekkooti enkulu alina okuba nga yakulira abalamuzi, yakulira amateeka n'enfuga ey'amateeka. Yalaze obusiifufu bw'empisa bwe yawambye fayiro ey'omu ku balamuzi nga mu bumenyi bw'amateeka, era nga bwe twategeeza tugenda kwandikira ekitongole ekironda abalamuzi ekya Judicial Service Commission okulaba nga banoonyereza ku neeyisa ya Ssaabalamuzi, naye kyayongedde okulaga Bannayuganda tibali ku lwabwe, era kyonna kyonna kye baagala kigenda kuva mu bo so si mu bitongole bino ebirala ebyawambibwa Museveni.
Are you part of this petition?
We filed a petition with the International Criminal Court against General Museveni, and now we amended it to involve his son, who has presided over the abductions and murder and torture of hundreds of Ugandans. So yes, we filed a petition. I've not seen the one on social media, but I mean, it would be a good thing to see many more petitions filed against these criminals.
When did you file?
We filed this petition quite a while ago during the campaigns, but we instructed our international lawyers to amend it and also include General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the commander of SFC, which SFC is responsible for the abduction and murder of very many Ugandans, which is actually still ongoing.
Is it the one including the list of people who are missing?
Certainly. Yeah.
By counsel? Who is your lawyer there?
Bro Safran? Yeah.
Uganda.
Chibuze nawe mu Luganda.
What would the petition mwayisisinga oyagala ki?
Twawabadda omusango mu kkooti y'ensi yonna, naye twalongoseza mu bulongosa mu mpaaba yaffe. Ennongoosa wano gye baatugaana, naye twasobodde okulongosaamu mu mpaaba yaffe, mu mpaaba yaffe ne twongerako ku be twawabidde, ne twongerako General Muhoozi Kainerugaba ng'ono yakulira amagye ga SFC, ate ng'ago ge gavunaanyizibwa ku kuwamba abantu baffe abali mu bikumi, okubatta, okubatulugunya n'okukwata abakazi nga bali mu buwambe. Well, I would say that the court really was not in position, to make a substantial ruling, especially after rejecting our evidence, after rejecting our amendment to our petition. Yet all these steps were within the law, and indeed the same opportunities had been availed to previous petitioners. But most importantly, what we got out of that court as the people of Uganda is a confirmation that the Supreme Court is, has been taken over by General Museveni. Clearly, we got that confirmation, and that is what I see as a benefit for the people of Uganda. A constant, yet another confirmation that they are on their own. Yeah. We didn't go to the courts of justice to get favors. We go to the courts to get justice, and we don't have to have any personal relationships with the justices or the judges of the courts to get justice. Justice should be availed for all Ugandans that go seeking for it. So for the justices of the Supreme Court to go personal, that is yet another exposure for them. We took this petition to the Supreme Court not for our own benefit, but for the benefit of Ugandan democracy, for the benefit of the people of Uganda, for the millions upon millions that turned out to cast their vote on election day. They needed justice. And what Mr. Winyidoro and his fellow justices did was not only to hurt us or to hurt the people of Uganda, but it was also hurting and shaming the entire judiciary. Because Mr. Winyudoro presides over the judiciary, and what he does is a reflection of the image of the judiciary. And I must also add that what Justice Kisakye did was not again for herself, it was for the judiciary. At least it in a way saved to a certain extent the image of the judiciary. Now we know that not all is lost within the judiciary. We know that there are some noble judicial officers that are willing, regardless of the intimidation and the bribery and the coercion, that are willing to stand by the Constitution and to stand by their judicial oath.
My last one. Support the already people who have shown interest. What is NUP doing? And
well,
what message are you giving to your MPs who have already come out to show sides?
Once again, I'll tell you that Speaker Talk right now is diversionary. I would rather major on majors and minor on minors, especially at certain times. We are at a time where all Ugandan cameras need to shine a light on a grave inconsistency in the Supreme Court. This is the highest court of the land. And I would rather we give all attention to this matter because it is very grave and because it is of grave importance. You know, that some members have already shown sides. That is not the official position of the party. And we always sit down as party to come up with statements on various issues. But as of now, I'd rather major on the major. We have a Supreme Court here that has been exposed. And there's been every effort to divert the eyes and minds of the people of Uganda from this. And I insist that we focus on this to ensure that all people of Uganda see the Supreme Court for what it is. See the Chief Justice for what he is, looking at what he says or does. And if we give importance to this, we'll find that it answers all these other questions. I mean, this is you driving me to the parliament, which is another, arm of government, when we have the judiciary, which is clearly messed up. So let's focus on where the focus should be.
So in the future,
Thank you.
Will you meet over the same in the future?
We'll meet you and give you our thought in future. But we have now to deal with.
So, Muluganda, what you need?
I think demu mu Luganda. Already. Sijja kiddamu.
What are your words to not to go back to court? And then he ordered for the switching off of microphones so that she doesn't read her statement, and then electricity, and then they had to close the tent that was being used as court. What are your words to Justice Kisakye, and then the other, I think they have to listen to her ruling?
To Justice Kisakye, I can only salute her. You know, everything that is being done around us is to drum it down the minds of the people of Uganda that they are not protected by the law, that those that have guns can do anything they want. What Justice Kisakye did is another, upliftment of hope for the people of Uganda. We thank her because what she did is far-reaching. It communicates to us that not all is lost in the judiciary. It communicates to us that indeed there are some noble judicial officers that will stand by the law. So we salute her, and we want her to know that she communicated to so many other judicial officers. Maybe she is going to be a big source of inspiration for future judicial officers. I mean, we've had some judicial officers like the great late Ben Chiwanuka, who paid the ultimate price for standing by their judicial oath. We salute her and tell her that even amidst a spoiled world, we can still have good people. Now, to those other justices that were intimidated by the Chief Justice, that were ordered to do illegal things, that were given illegal orders and they went by them, we tell them that you signed and swore to stand by the law, not by any individual. And the law will be there long after those so-called powerful people are gone. So your honor is more important. Your credibility is more important than the, short-lived security or benefits that come with bending the law and denying the people of Uganda justice. At least Justice Kisakye knows that she will be celebrated throughout her life or even after her life. We salute her. Yeah. Mu Luganda kyensobola okugamba Omulamuzi Kisakye nti kye yakoze teyakikoze ku lulwe, wabula yakikoledde Uganda yonna, era yatusindikidde obubaka nti wadde tulina ekitongole ekiramuzi ekifugibwa mu Museveni ekitalina ddembe, naye yatutegeezezza mu bikolwa bye n'ebigambo bye nti si buli kimu nti olwedde tukifiiriddwa. Yatulaze nti tukyalinayo essuubi mu kitongole ekiramuzi. Tumwebaza era tumutendereza. Pozi n'abalala abagondedde ebiragiro ebimenya amateeka nga bibaweebwa Ssaabalamuzi Owiny Dollo, tubategeeza nti baalayira kugondera amateeka so si kugondera muntu. Bo ng'abalamuzi be balina okuvaako essuubi lyaffe. So twebaza Omulamuzi Kisakye olw'otuwa essuubi, ne bano abalamuzi abamenya amateeka oba abawuliriza ebiragiro ebimenya amateeka ng'ate balamuzi, okubajjukiza nti amateeka weegali gajja kubeerawo emyaka mingi nga n'abo ababafugise mundu bamaze okubaawo. So kiba kikulu nnyo nnyo bo ng'abalamuzi ogoberera amateeka. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.